Okay, yeah, that,
So today I want to talk about how the soldiers in the United States are denied their right to keep and bear arms. And you might say, oh Nathan, you're being silly. That would be impossible. Well, actually it's not. Most people aren't aware of it. The Department of Defense has a regulation that says no soldier can take a weapon onto a military base. They can have their weapons issued to them, which are locked up, but they can't carry their own weapons. So let's say that I'm here in the United States, I have a concealed weapons permit, I want to go on base with it to my barracks. I'm not allowed to. I'm not even allowed to go on base and get it locked up and keep it stored like they did in the Old West, where you couldn't carry guns in town, so you had to check them at the door. You can't even do that on a military base. So military people, when they own their own firearms, have to go and find friends that live off base to store their weapons at. Or they have to keep them at home wherever their families are, they could be states away from wherever their personal weapons were. So a United States soldier is, in essence, just like a person who lived in Washington, D.C. a few years ago, denied to keep and bear arms. Now, let's try to think about this. If we look at the Second Amendment, it specifically says that the militia should be armed, and it says the people should be armed and have that not be infringed upon. So if you're in the Army or the Marines or the, whatever, Navy or Air Force, you're the person who should always be armed. I mean, if anyone has complete Second Amendment rights, it should be you. But instead, our country is so backwards that we take the right to keep and bear arms away from the people that it is supposed to have it the most, the military. So let's think about this. If I were a soldier and I were in Afghanistan, I would carry this weapon on my person 24/7. I would always have this in the same room with me at arm's reach at all times in a forward combat area. For a whole year I would carry this weapon. It would be attached to me practically most of the time. If not, I could grab it in under 10 seconds. But as soon as I come back from my deployment to a base, I can't carry a gun at all. Period. So I just find this so ironic, and you could look at it and say, okay, that guy you're not allowed to carry a gun. What does he do? Oh, he flies Apache helicopters. Oh, well, he only does that in Afghanistan, right? No. He flies Apache helicopters around here and blows up targets with Hellfire missiles and Gatling guns. Okay, that guy who flies the helicopter with missiles that he launches and does practice with around here where he could just fly anywhere he wants to, you don't trust him with a sidearm? It's outrageous and insane. So, again, part of this video is because it really ticks me off that my military friends are disarmed when they're staying on base, and they basically have to drive off, arm up before they can travel up here and visit me. And the other thing that really irritates me is the fact that our country is so backwards that they would have a rule like that. So the next time somebody talks about reasonable gun laws and stuff like that, tell them, hey, guess who's the most unarmed populace in the United States? The United States soldier is the one who can't carry a weapon if he stays on base. And I mean, with as many base shootings as there's been, which there's been quite a few over the years, having concealed carry military personnel would actually go against that. And the backwards logic of the DoD is simply this, that if you allow them to have guns on base, they'll go and be more likely to shoot each other. But if you think about it, if a person has post-traumatic stress syndrome and has gone off his rocker, would he not disobey the order not to carry guns on base and come in and shoot unarmed people? So, I mean, it doesn't stop what it intends to stop. And that's the biggest problem, is we have so many gun laws that were created to stop something that had no stop effect to, but they can't take them back. They can't admit they were wrong. They can't say, this is stupid, it didn't work, let's reverse the decision. No, they just double down and keep on doing what they're doing. So a lot of our gun laws are in place because they were thought to improve the situation, and when they didn't, the politicians and the officers in charge, the higher ups, couldn't admit they were wrong and then change it to a reasonable gun law. So again, a lot of our gun laws are good in the state level and stuff, but a lot of our federal gun laws were created in the hopes to help things that really didn't. Another good example is the fact that the federal government passed the Safe School Act and said you can't carry guns on school. Well, gee, that stopped all the gun shootings at school. That stopped all the gang members from carrying at school. No, it didn't. But do they reverse it? Do they sit down and say, you know, we did this 10, 20 years ago. It didn't work. Let's go ahead and take it off the books and allow concealed carriers into the schools, because that has had a positive effect in every state where they have concealed carrying in dropping violent crime. No, they can't admit they were wrong. They have to stick there and say that they were right. So again, I just wanted to share this with you all and make you aware that, again, any soldier in the United States cannot carry a gun on base, but if he goes overseas, he carries a machine gun 24/7 on the base he's at. Ironic? Absolutely.
Meep, meep.